Oh, right, of course, because I should know who that is.
I don't care what you think.
I'll tell you something that rubbed me right.
Felger and Mazz on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Am I the only one that's wondering how the hell did Boston lose to this team? Like, honestly, if you're in Boston and you're watching this, you say, not only did you lose to them in Game 7 on your home floor, you lost 3 straight games up 3-1. How is that possible against this defense with that guy on the floor, as we're showing you, who could not move? This is what makes you mad in Boston. You relied so much on the 3 instead of forcing them to play drop coverage. Because, hey, here's a secret. Joel doesn't know the rotations.
There you go.
He had no idea where to go defensively, and the Knicks picked on it and picked on it and picked on it, and Boston just took threes and let him just sit in the paint and not have to move. That's why you're mad in Boston.
When all you do is shoot threes, you can lose games regardless of who you're playing.
Exactly.
You can be playing anybody if you're cold, and they got cold enough times.
All right, hi, everybody. Welcome into the program. Felger and Mazz coming to you on Monday, May the 11th. That was a conversation this morning on ESPN, and how could it not be? How could you not be having that same conversation? You lost to those bums? Yeah, you lost to those bums. And how did you lose to those bums? Because of the way you play. It's just, I am sorry. I know I keep beating you over the head with it, but you deserve to be beaten over the head with it, I think. Mazz, you want to beat him over the head with it more?
Definitely.
Let's do it. It's a Reentry Monday. Felger and Mazz coming to you again. On Monday, May the 11th, Reentry Mondays are brought to you by our friends at Blue Bear Plumbing. When it comes to plumbing, heating, and air, no one compares to Blue Bear. When you call Blue Bear, you can expect expert service from their friendly staff for all your heating and plumbing services. For more information or to book your appointment today, visit BlueBearPlumbing.com. The Celtics looked at the Sixers with Embiid down low and said, well, he's protecting the rim. The best shot's outside, so they just kept kicking out and shooting three-pointers. Where the Knicks, I know they hit a lot of three-pointers yesterday. But the Knicks just played their offense, put pressure on Embiid and others, and pick that team apart. Shouldn't that make you feel worse if you're a Celtics fan?
Definitely should make you feel worse because, again, there are really 2 ways to do it. You either stay away from Embiid. I say 2 ways to do it, 2 ways to approach it. I'm not saying succeed. You either stay away from Embiid and do what the Celtics did, or you do what the Knicks did and get them to move, make decisions, force them to react. The Knicks way worked. Obviously, they swept them in 4 games. So you tell me, what's the better approach?
So do you think everyone acknowledges that it's just your approach, i.e. coaching, play style?
No.
Do you think more people are still stuck on the personnel?
Yes.
Don't you think that's a mistake?
Yes.
Thoughts?
So, look, I think, Mike, their only path to getting to the second thing is with the first thing. In other words, if Mazzulla is this stubborn, this pig-headed, the only way to get him to give up the 3, and by the way, and I'm not sure it's even possible, so let me say that. He might be so wedded to that idea that it's hopeless, in which case you have to fire him and move on. But if there's any chance, you're going to have to get him someone who can score near the rim and force him to go in there. And then if he doesn't, there's no doubt in the mind of Brad Stevens at a minimum. Like, to me, it's because I think the path to change their offense is to get a guy who can play closer to the basket.
I mean, so this is what I don't get. If you want to alter your play style, instead of altering your play style, you're going to get different players so your coach is forced to come out of his dopey play style.
Right.
Why don't you just change the coach and change the dopey play style? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know, but the problem is, Mike, I think they could look at this series that New York just played against the Sixers and say, well, their threes dropped. That's all. We just need better players that shoot threes.
No, what was the volume of threes, Murray? And, I don't know if you were listening to the clip when we were coming on. The Knicks, they shot well from 3 in this game yesterday, but that wasn't the bulk of their game, I don't think. They made Embiid move. They played more of a
and they defended Maxey really well.
But this is about offensively.
No, I know, but I'm just saying they're going to have some sort of excuse to look at that series and say, well, their threes dropped, ours didn't.
Do you think that's what they're going to do? Do you think Celtics fans are doing that?
No, Celtics fans might. I mean, I rule out nothing with them.
Is that what you think out there? That the Knicks played the exact same way as you? Their shots just went in?
That's delusional if they do think that way, but I could see them doing it is what I'm saying.
Stu, what do you think?
I saw Sean Grandy tweet, are we going to start complaining that the Knicks shoot too many threes?
Well, again,
go.
So what did they have 40-something yesterday?
Yes, they set a playoff record for three-pointers made.
No, made. What was their attempt?
It was 25.
No, 25 of 44.
25 of 44.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was I'll go back and look what they shot from three every game. And I'm talking attempts. Attempts. We're talking play style.
Of course.
Knicks had like 33.5 attempts of three in the series against the Sixers.
Okay. So you averaged 46.
Correct.
Dummies. But listen, just keep doing the Grandy thing and keep losing. I'm here for it. I think that's great. Listen to Grandy carry on like an idiot for 82 games and then get your crap pushed in again by some bum playing team. That's a great formula. I'm all in favor. I'm having a great time. Great. Yeah. So you tell me how the Knicks played and how you played. You think you played the exact same way? Theirs just went in?
I mean, it's not even close.
Is that what people really think?
No, the number Jimmy gave you is accurate. They averaged 33.5 threes a game. Taken, right. The Celtics were over 46.
46.
That's 13 shots per game that are different.
No, they're played the same way. Funny. It's great. So listen, keep doing the Grandy thing and keep losing every spring. It's great. No, I'm here. I'm having a great time. How about you? But back to like, how are they going to change it? So you're going to keep the dopey coach, but either get him different players or different guys on his staff to get him to change, as opposed to just changing the coach. I was reading Gary Washburn over the weekend, and he goes here. He says, Mazzulla has taken his share of criticism for his lack of adjustments through the first 6 games, and then his too little, too late desperation move with the lineup in Game 7. Washburn wrote, Stevens is going to stick with Mazzulla as coach, but there could be changes to the staff and the offensive philosophy. He wrote that it's critical for the Celtics to upgrade the coaching staff, perhaps adding another veteran coach as a fresh voice. Mazzulla has a solid staff, but in all honesty, how many of those young assistants have the power to keep them accountable or give them fresh ideas that will enhance the team? Like the roster, the coaching staff needs to be upgraded. Interesting. So here's an idea. You're playing the wrong way, and everyone knows it, and only guys in the bag like Grandy are going to sort of push back, okay? Who've been told by the team not to. So that's the only one who's going to push back. You're obviously playing the wrong way. So instead of bringing a coach in here who you can try and get to play the right way, you might change personnel to force him to do it, or get different assistant coaches. Why are you fighting this? Why not just change the coach and change the way you play?
Well, so look, you need a different philosophy, and that starts with the head coach. But I can give you an answer if you want one.
Go ahead.
Jason Tatum.
So you keep the dopey coach with this wrong-headed play style, all because your best player wants him.
Mm-hmm.
It's typically how it works in the NBA, though.
I mean, that's a fair answer. I guess that's it. Mm-hmm. So they can't get him. He's not capable of the job. But you keep him to hold Tatum's hand. Meanwhile, you bring in assistant coaches who have a clue, and then you change some of the players, forcing them back inside the line because Giannis or whoever Sengun can't shoot out there.
Something like that.
Huh. That, to me, feels sort of backward.
Mm-hmm.
Where I would just, instead of going through all that other stuff, why not just change the coach and keep all the other stuff? Because I'm sorry, I'm telling you, if you swap out Jaylen Brown for Giannis, that's stupid. That's dumb. As opposed to changing the coach. The coach should be the easiest thing to do. Change the coach and how you play. And then you get to keep Brown and Tatum. But instead, you're going to, I think, downgrade, lose that trade, all because you want to keep the coach to hold the hand of the best player who has you playing the wrong way. That's what it is.
Well, I mean, that's what I would guess, because in that league, we all know the tail wags the dog. So from that standpoint, you got to keep the star player happy. Now, and look, I'm not telling you I like it, but it might be the smart way to go. Because again, if you lose Tatum, then it's like Bone City.
Is it?
Yep.
I mean, when you say lose him, like, how do you mean?
Like lose him, like he doesn't want to be
Checked
here
out.
anymore. Yeah. Like I mean,
you think he'd do that?
I doubt it. I mean, it's not his nature. It's a fair point by you. I know where you're going. I think he's not. It's not his nature to do that.
I want to give him more credit than that.
Yeah,
I don't.
and you should.
I don't see him as a quitter.
But I also think that he is comfortable with Mazzulla, and trusts Mazzulla, and they're probably playing off of that. Would be my guess. But the offense has to change. Here's the real point. Why do we have to jump through all these scenarios for them to just change the offense a little, and not even a lot? We're just talking about 3 shots a quarter.
Just come back.
That's it, not even.
Just come back to the pack.
10 shots a game. 10 shots a game will fix it.
Another interesting debate. And let me tell you, if the Knicks decide to shoot 44 three-pointers a game, they're going to lose sooner than they should if that's the way they play. What am I saying here? Why am I blanking? Washburn. Jeez. Monday. It's a re-entry Monday, in case you're noticing. Washburn wrote, another interesting development. Stevens did not necessarily stamp the Celtics' reliance on the three-pointer, but the roster was built to shoot threes. I stop with that. Was it really, or just whoever they bring in here, they tell them to go out to the line? I think it's a little bit more of that other thing.
Yeah, it's a chicken and egg thing for sure. They bring it. They target guys who can shoot threes.
Vucevic was a post player in Chicago. He came here. They moved him out of the post. Derek White shoots way more many three-pointers now than he did over the balance of his time in San Antonio. I think they take guys out and I don't know. It doesn't feel like they target three-point shooters. They target guys who can shoot, but I think it's their play style that takes them out to the line. But anyway, he says, what's more, he says, unfortunately, though, the shooters on the team faltered in the Philadelphia series. And what's more, of the top 12 teams in three-point attempts this season, only 5 reached the playoffs, and just 2 are still playing. The Knicks and the Cavs. Again, so of the top 12, the one we had for you last week was 10 of the top 11 were one and done.
I think that's
or
right.
not even in the playoffs. So he has two of the top 12 teams in three-point attempts. Just 5 made the playoffs, and just 2 are still playing. The 3 teams that shot more three-pointers than the Celtics in the regular season were the Warriors, Hornets, and Trailblazers. Only Portland reached the playoffs. He says it appears the NBA's fascination with the three-pointer is beginning to subside, and the Celtics are going to have to adjust. The Knicks, Spurs, and Thunder were in the middle of the league in attempts. He said San Antonio and Oklahoma City were tied with the Heat for 13th. But they also have better athleticism and more interior scoring than the Celtics. In 2023, Mazzulla did say the three-point percentage was the league's most important stat. Not quite, Gary. You guys are getting closer to holding him to this. 3-point attempt rate. Not 3-point percentage. 3-point attempt rate. Not your make rate, the attempt rate. Which is why I stick with how many did they shoot. Any dumbass can tell you when they go in, you're in good shape. When they don't, you're not. How many do you take? And that conveys then your play style. If you average a lot of attempts per game, I think you're kind of porked. And the recent data would back that up. In this case, I do have facts on my side. So in 2023, Mazzulla did say three-point percentage was the league's most important stat. But Stevens appears open to change and ensuring the Celtics get easier points, including free throws. The Celtics ranked 30th, dead last in the NBA in free throw attempts this past year. I will add this past postseason and last regular season as well.
It's unbelievable.
They've been last in the in free throws two years running, I believe, in the regular season, and were last this postseason. Washburn writes, so regardless of what direction Steven goes with the roster, he's going to make sure it's equipped to be more productive than in the recent past, and the Celtics have declined offensively in recent years. So, okay, what they're doing isn't good enough. Very good. Step 1, class.
Acknowledging you have a problem.
Number 2, what are we going to do about it? They play the wrong way. Everyone knows it. Everyone, except for those in the bag, like Randy, don't acknowledge it, right? So they play the wrong way. So to get them to play the right way, you could, behind door number 1, change the coach and change the way you play and keep everything else intact. That's actually pretty good. Their roster's pretty good. The best tandem in the league. I never realized they had a problem on the staff. Sam Cassell feels like an active, good second guy. I don't know. But I never heard anything bad about the staff. So you get to keep the roster that's got the best pair in the league and a good young nucleus coming up and a good coaching staff. Just change the coach. Or you keep the coach who plays the wrong way and just can't bring himself to adjust or admit it. but then you have to change the staff and all the players around him. Doesn't that second thing feel a little more complicated?
Yes.
And they're doing that just so they continue to cradle the sack of Jason Tatum.
Pretty much.
That's kind of gross.
Yes.
But that's the answer. That has to be the answer.
That's what I think it is.
I'm going to play a clip from Cerrone and Leroy over the weekend. Like the Celtics in the past have made changes to the coaching staff. They weren't afraid to do it. But now they're going to be afraid to do it. So I was going to say they're just being stubborn. Mazzulla's Stevens' guy. We've identified this guy, and if we let him go now, we're admitting our mistake, and we're not going to do that. But you're probably closer to the bone. They're coddling their best player, or who they deem to be their best player.
I mean, that's what it feels like to me.
Okay. It's a reentry Monday. We're going to get to the Celtics as it relates to what just happened to the Sixers. We got a bunch of Red Sox stuff for you. We'll take a Mother's Day look at them, which is...
We'll take a Mother's Day look at those mothers.
Which is the Red Sox are an absolute affront and insult to mothers everywhere. Vrabel, Rossini, and the Patriots later in the show. Whatever you want in the interim, 617-779-0985. To you right after this.
Let's be clear. Cerrone, this team has issues. But splitting up JT and JB, we can agree, is not going to solve the problem, right?
It never has in the history of basketball.
Okay.
Getting rid of the star has never worked.
Is it okay to say that perhaps one of the issues is the philosophy and perhaps the coach?
There it is. There it is. I mean, and for those who say, well, he won your championship. So did Bill Fitch. This is an organization that has moved winning coaches before and got it done. That's changed philosophies. That's changed style. And you've seen it over the years. You've seen players make adjustments. Paul Pierce didn't play the same way he did when KG and Ray showed up. He was asked to adjust. KG had to adjust. Ray Allen had to change their game for the better of the team. They had to become something that they weren't. The issue with the Celtics team is refusing to change and refusing to adjust. You've been showing the league the same thing for 3-4 years. They don't figure you out, bro. It's time to do something different.
Good friend Cerrone battle there with Leroy over the weekend. Excellent point. Now, back to Mazz's point. Why wouldn't they just move on from Mazzulla? Because he's Jason Tatum's guy. Best player wants a coach, typically have that coach. The example he used, Bill Fitch. Didn't Bird hate Bill Fitch?
Pretty much.
So Bill Fitch was gone.
Yep, they showed him the door.
So
and that was the Casey Jones thing, right? When Jones came in, they basically, by making that switch, empowered Bird. Right? Now, look, again, it was also a little bit of a different era, but they empowered Bird. Bird's also like one of the, 5 greatest players in the history of the league, maybe 10? Like, what are we talking about? So, there were certain guys that you bend for and certain guys that you don't. Right now, I would not put Tatum in that class. But I think this is what they're doing. Mike, I was just saying to Murray during the break, I'll make it fast.
Just jumping through so many hoops.
For Mazzulla.
Just to stick with Mazzulla.
But and because of Mazzulla's attitude. Right? That's the thing, is he's just so damn stubborn.
It'd be one thing if there was an air of humility from the guy. Might make it easier to digest.
Right. You would think he'd be amenable to change.
Yeah.
He feels like just the opposite kind of guy. Stubborn and rigid and, kind of defensive and combative. And
everything's a fight.
I mean, that's not the guy that says, this is where we should change and I can admit where I was wrong and try and do so. He's not that guy. A lot of successful coaches aren't. That's just the way that it is. But especially this guy. So, okay, change the staff around him, change the players on the roster just to get you to play the way you should play, when you could just change the coach and keep everything else. Okay, I guess. Tim in Brookline, why don't you lead us off, Tim? What do you got?
Okay, guys. So I'm a Celtics fan, but any green teamer that even considers defending the way that the New York Knicks won should not only be banned from calling in, but they should be banned from listening. You should have your basketball license taken away. I mean, Joe Mazzulla has to get a very hard look in the mirror. What the New York Knicks did was they took advantage of Philadelphia's weaknesses. They shut Embiid down, that friggin' corpse of a human being who really kind of sucks. Joe Mazzulla's got to make change. I want to keep Tatum and Brown. Let's change the freaking philosophy. It's really not that hard.
It's not that hard, Tim. Thanks for the call. The 44 three-pointers yesterday. They were going in. They're on their way to a sweep. If here for you to say that the Knicks were doing what the Celtics did, here's what would then have to happen. The Knicks would take that game yesterday and say, oh, 25 of 44, those numbers check out. 44 3-point. We're going to shoot 46 the next game and then go to 48, and that's now how we're going to play. That's what you dummies have done. That's what the geniuses over there have done.
Right, took the cheese.
Let's see if the Knicks take the cheese. If they shoot over 43 pointers a game, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose before they should. How about PJ in Maine? Go ahead, PJ. PJ. Okay, gotta be right. Oh, go ahead, PJ. Go ahead.
Yeah, dude. Hey, I wanted to talk about the Celtics. I feel that they were scared of the Knicks, and they did not want to go into there. They did not want anything to do with it. I think Jason Tatum had a lot to do with it. I think that's why he sat out. I think that they just absolutely tucked their tail. They had no business losing to the 76ers, which is absolutely egregious. I'm not a green teamer. I'm a diehard Celtics fan, diehard Boston fan.
Well, PJ, let me tell you this. If you are afraid of Joel Embiid and old as rope Andre Drummond, there is something wrong with you. I am telling you. You're afraid of those guys?
Joel
Embiid?
Yeah, no, you mean because they lost? He said afraid of the Knicks, that they didn't want to play the Knicks.
Oh, I thought he meant that you were afraid to go inside on the Sixers. I misunderstood.
He means that they were content to lose to Philly. Because they didn't want to face New York.
Well, then, the same thing then.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's who you're afraid of?
So I was just going to say, well, this is another part of the problem, which is the Celtics are kind of soft. So if looks like the Knicks aren't going anywhere. So they're going, and if it's not the Knicks, it's going to be the Pistons or it's going to be Orlando again, even if it's for a round.
Do you think they were afraid of the Knicks?
I mean, I think the Knicks are tougher than the Celtics.
Do you think the Celtics were afraid of them? As in what the caller, so I misunderstood the caller. The caller's saying, well, we're not going to beat the Knicks anyway, so we'll just shut it down.
No.
Oh, I think there's a big sentiment of that among Celtics fans.
Today there is. Because they're trying to make themselves feel better.
Yeah, they should. But if the team...
So you're saying the caller said the Celtics wanted no part of the Knicks, so they shut it down against the Sixers.
Correct.
Do you believe that?
No.
I think they play like jackasses, and that's a losing formula in the playoffs. It's just a matter of time before you lose trying to play that way. That's why they lost. I do not think the team was afraid of the Knicks, and neither were you. To make yourself feel better, you might say this now.
Bingo.
Which is like what I heard about the Sixers, which was laughable. I had to hear that suddenly the Sixers were really good last week, Murray. Remember all this? We heard about how the Sixers are actually better than the Celtics, and they had a better roster, and they were a better team. We had to hear that last week.
Just looked at against the Knicks, didn't it?
Because you just can't admit that something is wrong here. For you to, it's easier to say, well, the Sixers were just better. That's why we lost. Then that would imply there's nothing really wrong here. You just lost to a better team. You have to acknowledge there's something really wrong here. And then that's why you would say that you lost to a lesser team, but that's a harder pill to swallow. So you weren't swallowing it. And now I have to hear that you would have lost to the Knicks? Stop it. No one said that going into the playoffs.
Oh, it's complete bullcrap. Please. But the Celtics fans and I would say there's some of it in the organization too, have a way of telling themselves anything they need to get through the day.
My God. Ray in Waltham. Go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry, it's Ryan. Ryan in Waltham. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, guys. I just think that pre-Tatum return, the Celtics play style was completely different post-Tatum return in the way that, trucking up threes, and it's a philosophy and all that. I don't even really disagree with the philosophy of chucking up threes, but it's when they're not falling to keep chucking them up. And it's kind of like, when the Pats and McDaniels, they aren't clicking in the first half, they got to switch it up in game plan for the second half, though.
Oh, you mean in a 1-point basketball game in Game 7 of the playoffs, you shouldn't just keep going 0 for 7 from beyond the line when you only need a basket? Oh, that? I couldn't figure that. So they got to bring it now. They got to bring in guys around Joe Mazzulla and put other coaches on the staff.
You got to coach the coach.
To have Joe, we're down 1.
See that thing up there? It's called the scoreboard.
So instead
Tells us
of
how much we're losing or winning by,
instead of just doing the simple thing, you got to get guys on the bench to say, Joe,
hey Joe,
take a look up there. It's 1. We're down 1. We don't need 3.
That means if we're inside the line, we can go ahead.
That's unbelievable. Or change the personnel that might go in there instead of just changing the coach. But Stu made a good point. When they did win the title with Mazzulla, Jeff Van Gundy was on the bench, and the guy in Charlotte, who's a good coach,
Charles Lee.
Charles Lee. So you say they had a good staff. Joe was propped up, I guess. And they didn't shoot as many threes that year as they're doing now. So they ramped it up in the last 2 years. Maybe because those guys left. And Joe there was left left to his own devices. There was no one there to check him. And so maybe they need to get guys back in here to just remind him of the actual score and babysit him so he can babysit Tatum. Like, good grief.
So they got to treat Mazzulla like he's Pablo Sandoval. Put someone outside his room so he can't order room service.
If you swap out, whether it's a 1-for-1 trade or some part of some iteration. If you lose Jaylen Brown and get Giannis back, you're a lesser team. Also you'll shoot less threes. Why don't you just shoot less threes? That's just amazing to me.
I mean, that is amazing. It's such an easy fix. Just modify your offense to get back to a reasonable amount of three-pointers.
Move a little bit more, move the ball, and come in from the line.
It's really not that complicated, but because of Mazzulla's stubbornness, they're left to jump through hoops to fix this thing.
Here's Murray's update. We're back with more. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I said it, and I'm going to say it again. I know we lost, and I know that's not the right mentality to have. But, for me, this was a success. I came into this year not knowing where I was going to be, how long I was going to play, if I was even going to play based on how the knee was the last few years. And, I came in just, hoping for the best. And I feel like we're in a position where we figured out the knee. Hasn't been an issue.
Joel Embiid, post-game yesterday, calling this, I think he said this is success this season. Either way, it was a comment that struck Big Jim Murray over there.
Yeah, no, it's a nice trend that Jaylen Brown started. We lost, but this was the balls for me. I had a great time. I mean, this is who you just lost to, by the way, this piece of work. I think he thinks, for him, because he's never going to win a championship, coming back down 3-1 against the Celtics, that's a championship to Joel Embiid. By him saying that, I don't take it any other way. And it's one thing when team owners, front offices no longer care about winning as much as they once did. Now they're happy with competitive seasons. And I'm looking at you, Puke Red Sox, because it's clear that's how they feel about their organization now. But when star players start embracing this kind of feeling, and they no longer live and breathe to win a championship, put themselves truly on the line for it, sports might have a problem. Like that, sports could be doomed if players like this, of this caliber, start talking like this. We lost, but this year was the balls for me. And sports aren't going to be doomed. I'm being hyperbolic, but they'll certainly become less appealing to someone like me. It's supposed to be about winning in championships. We got swept by the Knicks, and we look like a bunch of frauds, but I had a good time. How about the rest of you guys? I find stuff like clips like that and Jaylen Brown 24 hours after blowing your first series of 3-1 in Celtics history and him saying, I had the best time. It was a great season. It's appalling to me.
I mean, I'm with Murray on this. I think it's and I think some of it's reflective of just kind of the culture, American culture. Every kid gets a trophy. Don't worry about it that much. It's not worth it. What? It's not worth it? Not worth the stress to try to win and be the best of the best? It's like the most rewarding thing there is in sports is to win the championship. That's what makes it valuable, is that everyone's trying. Now you get your one title and you put it in your pocket and that's it. You don't have to work hard anymore. That's it. And I'll tell you what, I have long been obsessed with big guys in the NBA, or I long was obsessed with big guys in the NBA. And I think I might have said early on I'd have taken this guy, Embiid, over Tatum.
Yep.
If I did say that, shame on me. Like, you have a right to ridicule me for it. This guy's a freaking dog. He's lazy.
And you lost to him.
Yes, you got smoked by him. Watch him go up and down the floor. First of all, he's out of shape.
Definitely.
And I'm not telling you he's fat per se, but he's slow.
He's just constantly winded.
Seriously, always. He's out of shape. Get in shape, you load.
Or maybe, and Cerrone talked about it at the time, I don't know, take advantage of that, run them ragged in that series, which they didn't do.
No, just fan out across the three-point line and
exactly.
keep chucking.
You allow him to stand there. The way to get to him is to make him work. That's the way to do it. The Knicks had it right. They had it right. He doesn't want to run. He's out there walking the dog, for crying out loud.
I promise. Rifle through your phones right after these words. It's our long commercial-free segment right after this. You lose a 3-1 series lead to the Sixers. The Sixers get swept by the Knicks. What does that say about you?
You stink. That's a play-in team that just looked like a play-in team against the Knicks, and you played down to them with your stupid play style. You were up 3-1.
It should drive the point home even more.
Oh, Philly got smoked.
Let's do a lightning round, shall we, Jimmy? Let's hear from the people in a rapid-fire fashion.
The Lightning Round, brought to you by Blue Sky Restoration Contractors.
Indeed, spring weather is here in New England. It can be unpredictable, but your restoration partner shouldn't be. Our guys at Blue Sky are always ready to respond 24/7. So if you experience any water damage from the weekend rain or any storm damage whatsoever, you want to visit Blue Sky Restoration Contractor. There's no E in Blue Sky, BLUSKY. GoBlueSky.com is the website. Lead us off, Rob in Randolph on the lightning round. Go ahead.
The point that I like to make about the Celtics is they lost their defensive intensity. That's what got them the 56 wins, and that's what got them a championship against the Dallas Mavericks.
I mean, they weren't as good defensively, but I think it starts on the other end. I think your problems are offensive more than defensive.
I mean, their offense could completely expose in the series against Philadelphia. Completely. Well, what did they average for points per? Well, I take that back because they had a couple of games that were big blowouts. But their losses, they scored right around 100 points in all their losses.
I would say they were under 100, I felt like, in the last 3 games.
Yeah, it was. They
right
were
around there.
Yeah, because of the blowouts, they outscored Philly in the series.
Did, yeah. So that skewed the reality of it. But the majority of time, they were, struggling to get buckets.
You lost this series and the Knicks series last year because you shot yourself out of the games. That's, in my opinion, what happened. John in the car on the lightning round. Go ahead, John.
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
All right. So you think the championship is takes them lower? Like they don't want to compete no more because they feel like they already won?
John, so you're saying your comment line says better off having not won in 23, or in some way do I think the championship hurt them? John, thank you for the call, and I will answer and say yes. It got them to believe their own bullcrap.
Correct, yeah.
It's like you got duped because you had such a good team, and the league was down, and you had this insane playoff run where all the best players on the opposing team got hurt. You never had more than a 5-game series. So it was a real kind of outlier path, and you won. But instead of looking at the path and the landscape and what was a factor in you winning, you ignored that and said, well, see, it's our methods. Mm-hmm. It's like the Crafts and the Patriots, not to mix sports, but they thought it was about them. So Brady goes, Belichick goes, and we'll just do the same things. And they fall flat on their face. And I think that championship duped the organization into thinking that Mazzulla could coach or that they had the right idea in terms of play style, and they just didn't. Because, again, they doubled down on it. They've shot more three-pointers the last 2 years than they did their championship year. The championship year, they were at the top of the pack, but not by an egregious margin. The next year, they set an NBA record. And this year, they once again led the NBA postseason in three-pointers. So, I think that championship worked against them because it got them to believe their own crap.
Yeah, and it got Mazzulla even more than anyone to believe his own crap. All of a sudden, they're chucking threes up from every spot on the floor, and they're taking basically 50 threes a game 2 years ago. He completely went over the edge.
John in Charlestown joins us on the Lightning Round, brought to you by Blue Sky Restoration Contractors. Go ahead, John.
Hi, guys. I always had a lot of respect for Stevens. Great coach, great GM. but his press conference was a freaking disgrace. It was like a Red Sox, okay, just BS all around. He said the reason they were the 2 seed in the East, it wasn't the roster, it wasn't Jaylen Brown, wasn't the exceptional bench play, it was because the league was weak, because everyone was tanking. That's what he implied. Now, not only is that an insult to Jaylen Brown and the whole team, but it's inaccurate. If the league was weak, wasn't it weak for everybody? And if it was weak, why didn't we hear about it the entire year? We didn't hear about it because they weren't overrated, because it's BS. This Tatum-preferred offense, which they insist on, is the bane of every basketball analyst's collective existence. ESPN hates it. NBC hates it. Everyone except Brad Stevens and Joe Mazzulla.
And Sean Grande. No, all the national guys take one look at you and go, this is stupid.
Yes.
Like, it's like across the board.
No, really, it is. It's universal. Yes. No, it is. It's universal around the league. They all look at it and say the same thing. All say the same thing. And, Mike, I was looking this up earlier just out of curiosity. The magic number for shooting threes is at 33.3%, right?
Yes.
Anything over that makes it three.
Meaning, if you shoot 33% from three, it's better than 50% from three.
Right. Yes. Anything over that number.
That's right.
Is more efficient.
That's right.
Okay. Every team in the league shot 34% or better. But do they all shoot threes the way the Celtics do?
Definitely not.
So, like, this idea that, like, I'm telling you, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts the way they play. Everybody's shooting threes, but nobody does it like them. Seriously, it's like they're addicted. There's something wrong.
There is something wrong there. And if they're not going to overhaul it, the personnel changes aren't going to matter. Here's Brian in Bellingham on the Lightning Round, brought to you by Blue Sky Restoration Contractors. Hi, Brian.
Hey, guys. My issue with Mazzulla and the Celtics is kind of, Maz, you were just hitting at it. They don't use real-time or contemporaneous data in their analysis of three-point shooting. In other words, wouldn't they look back the last couple of years and say, hey, if by halftime we're down or it's a close game in the third quarter and our field goal percentage is below 30%, we got to adjust our approach and not just shoot threes. They're not using any of that data to adjust their approach. They're just going out there shooting threes, thinking that the percentage is going to go up at some point, but they're losing these series because of that.
Well, absolutely. And the whole point of a formula is that you have to see it through to the end. If you abandon the formula halfway through before you let the full sample play out, then you aren't getting the most out of your analytic. So you can't adjust. You've got to get the full sample.
I know. And the more we talk about it, it's such a cop-out, too. It gives you an excuse not to coach.
Right.
Is what it does. It gives you an excuse. So you can sit there and say, what should we do? You know, the players come back. What should we do, Joe? What do we do here? Should we run a play? No. Just stick with the philosophy. You know, really, the coach lets himself off the hook doing that. It's insane.
GoBlueSky.com is the website. No E. Brian in Framingham. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, you guys came back from break a couple breaks ago with a take from Cerrone Battle that
yes, sir.
Pierce, Garnett, and Allen all fundamentally changed their game. While I agree that the Celtics of the past couple years do need to make player and coaching adjustments, his take that Pierce, Garnett, and Allen fundamentally changed their games, I think they all took a lesser role and less shots, but Pierce was still a slasher scorer. Garnett was still a pick and post, and Ray Allen was still a spot-up shooter. They just took lesser roles. They didn't fundamentally change their games.
Okay. But the point is, I think Cerrone's broad point was well taken, by me anyway. And I got emails that actually Bird liked Bill Fitch and the rest of the team hated Bill Fitch, which we said earlier, so it's like reverse in what I remember. Either way, the point is this. They didn't just keep doing what they were doing. You know, the Celtics in the 80s changed course with their coach, whether it was a Bird thing or it was the rest of the roster thing. And, yes, the Ray Allen still was a two-guard and an outside shooter, and Pierce still got to the elbow. Yes. But they did sort of change what they were doing to fit together. What is this team going to do? Are they going to do anything that's different? And they're going to have to, because what they have is not working, and it's not personnel-based. They've had the personnel. You could tell me they haven't had the personnel to win a championship. If they had gotten to the finals this year, Mazz, you say, okay, well, you're going to run up on one of those teams in the West that's probably have more talent. Okay?
Definitely.
And you say at that point, well, their roster isn't quite there to beat the Thunder or the Spurs or one of those teams. But not in the East. No, it's all play style. They've had enough talent the last 2 years to get out of the East. That's why they were the odds-on favorite to do so.
I mean, you have to evolve. Okay, you have to evolve. So whether it's taking fewer shots and playing a more mature game, which is what Garnett, Pierce, and Allen did. Okay, did they still do the same things they did that made them good players? Yes, but they learned to play together instead of shouldering the burden entirely into themselves. And these guys are going to need to learn some of that too. I still think Tatum gets sucked into that, and so does Brown for that matter. But you just have to evolve.
Stephen Worcester's going to wrap up the lightning round again, brought to you by Blue Sky Restoration Contractors. Visit gobluesky.com. No E. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Knicks right now at this moment are the better and bolder organization than the Celtics. And look at what happened last year. They made the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in ages. And what did they do? They fired their coach because they identified the issue that his rotations were too big and he was wearing down the starters. And now this year they look like a completely different team. They look fresher and they've hit another gear. Compare that with the Celtics and Joe Mazzulla, who's bowed out epically 3 of the last 4 years in the playoffs. And what are they going to do? They're going to change the roster instead of identifying the core issue, which is the coach. And that's the difference between the Knicks and the Celtics right now.
So listen.
Sorry, no. As long as James Dolan lives and breathes, they got lucky. But the reason they fired Thibodeau last year is because James Dolan is an erratic nut.
I will not accept that the Knicks are a better organization than the Celtics. They are not. They are not. They don't even have a better team. You still have a better roster. I still will not acknowledge. I do not believe the Knicks have a better roster. I don't. They didn't last year and they don't this year. And now, like, their players, like if you said, like, their players 3 through 7 might be better, or 4 through 8 might be better than your 4 through 8. But I'm still taking both. I'm still taking Brown and or Tatum before I get to Brunson or Towns or whoever you want to throw at me over there.
They're the first 2 picks of that series.
And I still think you have a better team. And if Derek White hadn't been led down this path, if you hadn't ruined Derek White, he's more comparable with those guys, but Mazzulla ruined him with all those 3-pointers. Now he's just out there chucking. But no, the Knicks are not a better organization. I don't even think they have a better roster. But they have better coaching. They did last year and they did this year. And that's why they're still playing. And that's kind of gross because that's the easiest thing to change in that league. And everyone changes it all the time, but you're stuck. You're stuck because why? I don't get it. I mean, I do.
Mazzulla's attitude.
You explained it to me. No. But why are you stuck with Mazzulla? And I think you made a good point.
Tatum.
Still trying to appease Tatum.
Yeah. They want to make sure Tatum's comfortable and happy. Be my guess. Which wouldn't be that out of the ordinary if Mazzulla wasn't so effing stubborn. I still think it's as much about his attitude. Now the best player likes him, so you got to jump through hoops to figure out a way to win with him as coach.
We continue with your calls. It's a Reentry Monday. Everything's on the board. Mixing a Red Sox thought or two after Murray gets you updated. 90 seconds, no commercials.